Today's episode is going to be quite cool. Sorry, Lara. Come on.
No, it took me a while to register that.
Come on. Okay. Suspense a bit. Shh. I petitioned to change that intro. We've been using it for quite a while now. I think
it's time we had a refresh, right?
yeah, maybe we as soon as we get a little bit of budget, maybe we hire some guy to
Yeah.
kind of write a song for us.
Or if anyone out there want to send us some music,
Yeah, we're cheapskates, by the way. We won't pay for it. At least we're upfront.
Jim will give you exposure.
Okay, today our guest, I've known him for quite a while, and when we first met, or when we first actually went to his store, we always like, hey, what's the inside scoop? What's the inside scoop? Never would we have thought, it's a saying, right? Never would we have thought, it will become such a huge success of what it is today.
A phenomenon.
A phenomenon, and the thing is, it's proudly Malaysian and proudly local.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the founder. Okay, is it founder or co-founder? I must say correctly because I know that you're not the only ones involved in this. Your wife also is involved in this.
Yeah, Shirley's also involved.
Yeah.
And I've also another business partner.
So I would say
One of
the founders of Inside Scoop. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Edmund. Welcome on the show.
Hi guys.
In case you didn't get Jin's cool reference just now,
Yeah.
it took me a while before it hit. His dad jokes are getting worse and worse.
I should
That jokes all come out already.
Man, I should have just said, hey, today I got an inside scoop on something.
That would have hit a bit better, lah.
Yeah. But fresh off the bat, congratulations on the big news that was public. I think Farm Fresh actually recently acquired Inside Scoop.
Yep.
Congratulations on that. How are you celebrating?
Nothing much actually,
Eating more
to be
ice
honest.
cream.
Not really actually. Back to the grind. It's not really a sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually busier than ever for us because
Right.
there's a lot more to do. But at least now, or not at least now, the problem with it now is that we don't have an excuse anymore. Last time we can say no money lah. Now we have a bit more firepower, so we don't have an excuse for ourselves anymore. So that's a problem.
Right.
That is a problem.
So for the general public who just tune in or probably do not know what it is you do, would you mind kind of like bringing our audience through who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Edmund. I was born.
It's not like the karangan, right?
Yeah.
Nama saya Edmund.
A+.
Hobby saya makan ice cream.
Yeah, so we go backwards lah. That's probably easier. So currently, I lead the Inside Scoop team. Inside Scoop is an artisanal ice cream brand, and we're trying to be a bit more mainstream lah. That's how I would brand ourselves today. Prior to this transaction, I was obviously running Inside Scoop on a day-to-day basis together with Shirley, and she still runs the business together. At that time, we were a lot more focused on the food and beverage side of things. So, opening stores, closing stores, building a factory, making sure the ice cream is great. We still make sure the ice cream is great, by the way. Then before that, we had professional careers in financial services. So I was working in a bank. Shirley was a product manager in an insurance company, and before that she was an actuary. So that's our 30-second background.
How did you, from a finance background, probably I would say finance background is it safe to say that finance background is very luxurious, very lucrative? Because all of them seems to kind of tell me that, oh yeah, they pay very well, but also it's quite stressful.
Yes, the particular segment I was in was quite stressful. It did pay very well. I was working in Singapore then. So I was working in Singapore for a full 10 years.
Oh, wow.
8.5 years. And then I was in the US for a while as well. So I was doing a lot of advisory work.
Right.
My last stint was I basically helped prepare companies for listings. And bring them through the listing process and help them with the whole, writing the big book that nobody reads. The people that know sign my life away on liability. And then raise money for them. So that was my last stint in the bank.
Wow. I can see how, from financial to running a business, how it relates and how you can bring your experiences over. But why ice cream? How the ice cream came into the picture?
I think the big issue in the finance industry is that it was quite high level. Which it was not it's not a big issue. It was an issue for me because I'm a bit of I have a socialistic skew, right? I wanted to be able to touch lives directly. And that was quite important to me, and I felt that was lacking. So things that I really enjoy today working with the people on the ground, speaking to students that just graduated from 5, working for us part-time, speaking to interns, working with our operators, finding solutions for them, giving people the opportunity that I have, fortunately, because I won the genetic lottery lah. Like, I'm not going to keep myself. We were very lucky to be where we were. There were a lot of people out there that didn't have the opportunity that we have, and I felt that it's something that I really wanted to experience a lot more and to be able to touch people's life directly.
Yeah, and not only do you run a business in ice cream, I think I kind of went to I can't remember what it was, but a mutual friend of ours, Renee, invited me to kind of like a talk where a lot of like-minded business people kind of talk together and they threw ideas and they actually kind of mentored each other to grow together. So that's where I realized that you give a lot of talks.
I do give some talks. It is quite draining. It is quite draining at times. It's time consuming. Sometimes you have to prepare for it. But as I said, it's quite a nice experience for me, and I still enjoy it today. Hopefully, we can impact people's lives in different ways. To me, the metric of success for Inside Scoop is two things. We are here 20 years, 20, 30 years. 30 years from now, we're still here and we're still relevant. And number two, some of our ex-staff calls me up for a beer willingly. Not because boss blunder, right? It's like, hey Edmund, like 20 years from now, hey Edmund, like when we were Inside Scoop together, like you really taught me a lot. It really impacted my life. That one really like tearjerker lah.
More beer, more tears.
like that to me, those are the two most impactful things that I think we can leave. We can leave the legacy on. It's not about driving a Ferrari or like what. I think those are nice, but for me, these two things are my highest priority. That means if you wanted to make sure that the brand is here 30 years from today, you cannot do things that are short-term in nature. So the philosophy must be very strong, and you must have a good social skill so that people will continue to support your brand. You must have a strong team around you that will continue your legacy, because you're not going to be here working, or hopefully you're not going to be there working 30 years from now. So the philosophy and the operating philosophy must be very strong.
So all this comes from the experience of running a company for almost more than 12 years, right?
So we are celebrating our 10th year anniversary in December.
The first one was in Bangsa, right?
The first one was in Bangsa. The first one was in Bangsa. I think we met when we were in DJ or USG. I cannot remember.
I think it was in near Atria.
DJ.
Yeah, that's where we first met. I think we brought some friends over. And they came over. That's where I first met you and your wife. And
so
then,
DJ was our second shop about 5 or 6 months in, I think. Yeah.
So how did you dabble into the world of ice cream? It's like, was this your first venture, or did you have previous businesses in the F&B line before that, before venturing into ice cream?
No, previously I was 100% in finance. There was no time for anything else. So on my 8.5 year, I think, or 9th year, I cannot remember, 8.5 years anniversary in the bank, I took a sabbatical. I took a 6-month sabbatical. And I thought that, I wanted to explore myself lah. Not something that was, like when we first graduated, it wasn't in vogue lah. Take some time off, go and do your own thing, right? So immediately after I graduated, I stepped into a bank and I worked really, hit the ground running. So 8.5 years in, I felt that I wanted to do something on my own. But we've been planning for it for a while. Financially, we were a bit more thrifty. We saved up a lot more, with the anticipation of wanting to do our own thing from the 10th year onwards. From the 10th year. So when I took the sabbatical, we decided to start the ice cream business. And I wasn't committed to it full time yet. So then Shuli and my business partner, Derek, they were running it on a day-to-day basis.
They were already full time at that point.
Shuli was full time. Wow. Derek was 50% of his time. He had a few other businesses in Malaysia and Singapore that he was running lah. So Shuli came back and we decided that it made more sense for Shuli to run it full time as opposed to me, where I had a higher opportunity cost.
Right.
So we did that. Then I think by the time we were doing, our 3rd or 4th outlet, I cannot remember now, 3rd or 4th outlet, we needed someone to come back and run it full time together with Shuli. She's very good with certain things, but I think we needed to complement the skill set, and that's when I decided to take the plunge.
So that's when you're like, all right, you're all in it. You're all in it. Sailang.
I don't know if it's Sailang. I mean, at that point in time, banking, there was still a shortage of people. In theory, you could have gone back quite easily. In theory.
At that time.
In theory, but life is about rolling the dice.
It was the right right decision to make at the right time? Like it wasn't too.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
think
there's
so.
always risk involved.
There's always
anyways.
risk involved, correct.
But you went
was
into
a
it. You went
calculated risk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I like the word calculated risk. I mean,
Yeah.
for
With any business, I mean, you start a business, you go into it, it's always a risk. You risk
some
losing
people
money.
calculate it and they know that the odds are in my favor, then they'll start. But some people like even the odds are not in your favor. Never mind, I'll just try.
But if you look at it objectively speaking, right? Again, because of investors and everything else, the headline number that we got from Farm Fresh and everything else sort of puts us back at where we were if we were to stay in finance only. It's not that big of a difference for us. So from a financial, it's not really when people look at it, they look at it from a financial standpoint, right?
Yeah.
I look at it more from when I took the leap, it's actually hopefully I will be able to be as good financially, and I've really expected to take a step back financially, like actually move backwards financially. But more from a satisfaction and like personal career growth, growth standpoint, I felt that was a step that I needed to take.
Like you said, like you're in a position where you can actually leave a legacy, make your mark lah.
Not really make my mark, right? Like live a different experience lah. Live a different experience. That experience, that ability to being in a position where I can choose what experiences I want was important lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, when you decided to start Inside Scoop,
Yes.
you're like, it's just more of like, okay, I'm going to start an ice cream business, but who basically took the first step to even learn how to make ice cream at home? Did it start straight away? Yeah.
So the narrative is the marketing narrative. The marketing one is Shuli really likes ice cream. Shuli is my wife. For those that don't know, Shuli really likes ice cream. I wanted to build her an ice cream empire, but halfway through I decided, she worked for it better lah. You want to buy that bag? You work for it, woman.
I agree.
That's the marketing narrative lah.
Yeah.
The reality is that she's a much more organized person than I am, and ice cream is about formulation, it's about structure, it's about making sure everything is organized, and she's a much better person to do that lah. I'm a bit better with strategy, we're a bit better with people. So at some point in time when there's critical mass, it made sense for me to come back and run it lah.
Right.
So ice cream. Why ice cream? It was because it was scalable. Like it was one of those things that we found that we could do it centrally as opposed to like a restaurant, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing that was invoked then was tech, right? It was the era of Groupon. It was the era of Groupon. I don't know if you guys, for the younger audiences out there, is this relic?
Groupon now. Okay, let's make it relevant to today. Groupon is like Klook.
In a way.
Yeah. Klook is experiences. Groupon is like all the best deals, products. Yeah.
So that time Invoke was Groupon, and we toyed with the idea of doing something in tech, but I couldn't stomach the continued losses and raising money. It just wasn't for me. Then we decided to pull the trigger. Then we wanted a cash flow based business, and that's how it started.
So did you have like an ice cream seafood like? Or were you guys literally experimenting in the house?
So we experimented. The story is quite similar lah. We experimented in the house. Then Shuli went to Italy to learn how to make ice cream. We had friends in the ice cream industry, shared a bit of experiences. Just do it lah. Just do it lah.
Just try only tempa
Just
until
do
your
it lah.
product tastes good lah.
Don't think so much. Just do it lah.
Did you immediately start with like a mountain of flavors, or did you start maybe with a very small?
We started with 12 flavors.
Oh, that's a lot
12.
still.
No, 12 flavors is okay.
12
flavors is okay. Started with 12 flavors in our Bangsa store.
And how many flavors you have now?
Recipe book wise, we have more than 100 lah.
Oh,
But I mean, we only
You
make
can't stock all at one, right?
we only make 30-40 flavors at a time.
right. And okay, at that point of time when you were starting the ice cream business, you had other competitors which were basically international brands like your Baskin Robbins or your other Haagen-Dazs and stuff like that. And then, those are household brands. I'm not sure whether household brands, but they're popular brands that have a lot of money behind them in terms of marketing. And you guys just came in. Did you already have a clear plan how to? No.
This one.
Just wing it.
Yeah, it's like it's like okay, because Malaysia mentality. Okay, I won't say maybe today's a bit different, but I would say rewiring about 10-15 years ago, right? They always have this mentality: West is best, and anything local, they just like see first, see how lah,
Yeah, so circumstances was quite good, right? Circumstances, the market was with us then. There was a transition towards. It was the end of the second wave coffee shops. So people have warmed up to the idea that consumption, like when I want to consume something, it doesn't have to be something that my parents consume, right?
Yep.
So like third wave coffee shops, at the time coffees were like, I think 7 or 8 ringgit. People were happy to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, first wave is like Starbucks, second wave is the more independent, then going to third wave, right? So
Yep.
it was a bit more lifestyle driven. So we were also quite lucky to be able to ride that wave.
Yeah.
And people were appreciating this sort of products more. Artisanal, made in Malaysia, made using real ingredients, made using real food. People were appreciating that a bit more. So it was right time, right place. So I would say we are as much lucky as we are prepared. Yeah.
And was
Luck played a very important part in it.
So social media was could you say that social media was also a very
It was the era of Facebook.
Yeah, it was.
Instagram wasn't there yet. Instagram wasn't
yeah.
there. Instagram wasn't even there yet. I think Instagram was just starting. And I think 6 months after that, or a year after we started, Google acquired Facebook. Google acquired Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Facebook acquired Instagram.
Facebook acquired Instagram. So that was a very early stage of Instagram.
Yep.
Facebook was getting traction, but I think the monetization wasn't strong yet.
Yep.
I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it was that era. Social media was quite new. I think a couple of years before that was Friendster. No,
Friendster.
Friendster was way before.
No, Friendster. Nobody went to Friendster to look
Not
for
today.
reviews.
No.
They went there to look for friends.
Yeah. It's Facebook that really
so
pushed
it
out
was
the-
Facebook. It was Facebook
the
and
viral
yes,
stuff, right?
Yes, Facebook was the one that pushed out the viral stuff.
Yeah, when they had when they introduced Facebook pages, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Everybody
That was-
takes
yeah.
Facebook pages for granted right now, but back then it was like only certain people can kind of start Facebook pages.
Yeah, and then when you transition from your personal account to your pages, you lose some followers. Remember that?
Something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was a bit of issue then, but yeah.
Facebook was a wild place, man, back then.
Yeah.
College assignment do on Facebook.
It's not like what our parents use now, right?
Yeah.
It was a cool thing then.
But when you decided to start an ice cream company back then, did your goals back then differ from whatever you've achieved today? Because when you start a business, okay, my goal is this. Do you always continuously just travel towards your goal, or it just basically pivot from time to time?
No, I think there is. I don't think we are so well organized or planned where we.
He's being humble, lah.
We had like a North Star, and then we go towards that, right? I think it was very organic. It was quite fluid. We were constantly constrained by resources, both in terms of money and also people. We were struggling to get. At some point in time, the tides turned, but we were struggling to get. To get to where we were because everything was run by us.
Right.
So I mean, now we have an amazing team, really good people around us. So it took a while to put together, and with a good team, it gave us a bit more confidence to go a bit harder, to go a bit harder. But without them, we probably would be a bit slower. So it was pretty organic, I would say, pretty organic.
What would you say is the biggest hurdle in the early days, like when you say you first opened, the first couple of months? What was the biggest struggle?
The biggest struggle was adapting to hands-on work relative to desk work for us.
Especially coming from your background, right?
Yeah. So we were very desk-bound. We were sitting there doing analysis, writing prospectuses, doing product launches. So yeah, going to hands-on work, quite different.
Customer facing
For a very relatively small, like a lot of transactions, but relatively small. That was quite.
Yeah.
quite
Do you get like a lot macam customers coming?
Yeah,
like,
I would think that would be the toughest because
yes, it's
You
a
never know
tough
what kind of
business.
human
It's a
will
tough.
come in.
No, I think we take it with a stride. We take it in our stride, right? Like customers are customers. Of course, some people feel that the customer is always right. I think the customer is definitely right if they're reasonable. And sometimes the organization is also at fault, Like I'm not saying that it's 100% customer, 100% organization. It's just very circumstantial, So you just have to switch your mind to deal with it,
Yeah.
That's the operating philosophy.
I to be honest, personally, I felt Inside Scoop was very human.
Yeah, and we still try and be as human as we possibly can. That's
Yeah.
one of our key pillars. We try and humanize the buying experience.
Yeah.
And also make sure that the flavor, not just the buying, humanize the entire experience.
Yeah, from
Whether-
from stepping into your shop to
Yes.
interacting with your salespeople.
Salespeople, through to how we treat our staff, how we treat our drivers, how we treat our teams. I think humanizing that is very important, at least for me.
And it translates to online too. And for me, sometimes I go through your comments, have to do a bit of research, you know what I mean? But this is like, I mean, I've stumbled across a lot of things before because sometimes your comments, there are people who say not nasty things, be like, oh, I think this particular thing is too sweet, you should do this. But the way how you guys kind of answered to that was like, okay, we'll take this into consideration. And then a few weeks later, you come back to the same comment, we think this is okay and stuff like that. So I was like, oh wow, this is very human.
We try to, and of course, as the organization gets bigger, the problem is how do we make sure that, back to the operating philosophy, that the next level of managers and the next level of executives will continue to adhere to that. So when you say a product is too sweet, I recognize that there's varying levels of sweetness for everybody.
Yeah.
Same as salty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
varying levels. So we must make sure that we cover the 95% of the market.
Right.
And then the people that sometimes we cannot cover, we either get back to them and let them know, or we do a special one for them. Just for this particular occasion, we have a zero sugar product for you guys.
Oh.
So those are experiences that I really like, that it makes people feel very special.
Yeah.
And it's also part of me, right? Like I just really like doing these sort of things.
Oh, okay.
It makes them feel like you're paying attention. You're
People want to
hearing,
be heard, right?
Yeah,
People
you're
want to be
hearing
heard.
what they're
People
saying.
want to be heard, right? People
You're
want to be heard,
acknowledging
yeah.
their problems that they're having.
I cannot make everyone happy all the time. But
Yeah.
when we get the chance, let's continue doing that. Let's not be a large organization where, okay, I want to make money only.
Yeah, screw you, man.
yeah,
My
not-
sweet then don't eat lah. Don't let them.
No, as in it's hard, right? Like we want to please.
Yeah, because with scalability, you have more different opinions coming in, and sometimes your
Yeah.
opinion doesn't align with your opinion. Everybody.
Especially when it comes to flavor. Like
Yeah.
yeah. What's
Some
sweet for
people
me
like
may not
durian,
be
some people
sweet
don't
for
like
you.
durian. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also sometimes sugar and salt is what gets people coming back, right?
Yeah.
Like it has to be tasty, lah. Right?
It still has to taste good. You need a
you have to
good
taste good,
tasting.
lah.
How much ice cream have you tasted in your whole entire ice cream career?
I don't know, but before I came here, I had a scoop of ice cream, so for sure a lot, lah.
Yeah, how do you run an ice cream business and still maintain such a good physique?
Bro, you know the answer. You know the answer.
Yeah, he's been texting me to go and ride bicycles.
Oh, you so right? You
Yeah,
also
he
cycle
does,
one,
dude.
ah?
Yeah.
But every
Oh my
time I
God.
see his pictures and where he goes, I'm like,
Too far.
I look at because we're all like, like cyclists, right? We'll go on this thing called Strava, and you look
I'm
at.
not on Strava.
He's not on Strava, but your same circle of friends, sometimes they get tagged. You see where they go, that area that they go to, and then you go on Strava to check what the elevation is like, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And you see what the average speed is like. It's like, no, I'm gonna be alone. And I was like, yeah, but most of the time it's busy,
But
lah.
Jin, that's how you stay this fit.
All right, okay.
Okay, Sunday.
He will treat you to ice cream on top of the.
He's like, his casual ride is about almost like 70 to 100 Ks.
Oh, God.
Casual. Okay, I'm like, whoa.
Sorry, I drive to Sepang already.
But okay, like, is there any point in time where when you were running this business? Okay, let's talk about running business now, because I'm pretty sure some of our listeners are probably first-time business owners. Probably not in ice cream, but when starting a business, you said you just went for it. You didn't know what you guys were in for. You were looking at the North Star. You headed towards it. When it comes to working with people, I know you work with your wife. Some people will say, "Hey, don't work with your other half because confirm problems, and then you get divorced and stuff like that." I mean, I run my company together with my wife, and I feel that it's a perfect synergy because she does what she's good at, and I do what I'm good at, which is nothing.
Point fingers. Ryan, can you please call Edmund?
Yeah, but like, okay, let's go step by step. When you're running a business, people, what do you look for in a business partner first?
Business partner, I think sensible dispute resolutions. Dispute resolutions. We've had good experiences with Inside Scoop partners. We've also had some not so, I won't say bad experiences, areas that we could have improved on, experiences that continue to nourish our lives and learn from. So yeah, I think it's just taking it a stride, but I think always being open in communication is important. That means don't shut the door on people. Sometimes we make mistakes. At that point in time, we don't realize it's a mistake. And for sure, I've made lots of mistakes, like more than I can count, and continue to learn from it. So in terms of business, I think what I look for in people is just ability to communicate when things become very tough.
Right.
At this juncture, right? At this juncture, yeah lor. Because it's a matter of perspective and also a matter of timing.
Right.
It may be right for you then, but if you look at it in a long-term horizon, right? Like when I say long, I mean like over a 5, 10, 20-year period, right? It could just be a blip or a slight dip, right? And
Yeah.
Just continue sticking to it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like when you do business with other people or a partnership, that I'm pretty sure at one point in time, money, dollars and cents will come into
sure.
play. How do you handle these type of disputes?
Dollar and cents comes into play, even more so for people that are quite analytical like me. So
So it helps that your finance background, lah. Okay, cool.
I mean it helps, but it's sometimes it's also a bane, right? Like we overanalyze things, and our ability to overanalyze and our ability to understand the numbers a bit better than others. I mean, I'm going to openly admit this. Sometimes I can be a logic bully. like I bully you in like the logic is like my argument is so watertight, like from a financial standpoint, but I forgot the human element of it, which is quite important. So that's something that I would have liked to know a bit earlier.
Right.
And sometimes I still fall into that trap today. But yeah, when you take a step back, of course you have to make financial sense, but losing that couple of percentages or like not necessarily always being logical has to be the most important thing. I think you got to be 80-90% logical.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go like, fuck. So I go like 100%, guys, this just doesn't make any sense at all. And it's not like doesn't make sense, it's just like I exaggerate, right? It's like 85% still okay. The 15% you guys are being muppets about it, but like I just don't like it, right? I just don't like it. I want it to be 100%. So sometimes I do have that tendency to be a bit too straight about.
So it's about finding the balance.
I think so. I think so. Finding the balance and also understanding how to.
Yeah, it's not really
you
like
don't have to win every battle. You don't have to win every battle. Winning the war is more important.
And you want to win the war together, rather than
sometimes I feel like every battle is how to win war. The philosophy is if I win all the battles, I win the war. So it's not a good outcome. Really not a good outcome. I mean, we continue to learn from it. Not something that they prep you in business school or anything, but yeah, it's just recognizing that sometimes I think I would have liked to have that realization earlier.
Yeah, because a lot of people tend to think that, you want to run a business, go study hard in school. But I think the truth of the matter of fact is running a business, nobody prepares you in school for it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm quite grateful. I mean, for the young listeners out there, starting a business out of school is great. But I think that 5 to 7 years working experience, getting a good mentor or like working under someone else's wing can teach you things that it takes a longer time as a person. I'm not saying that it cannot be self-learned. Obviously, there are heaps of examples out there, but I think the general population, like people like me, right? I really appreciate having that early formative years in a professional setup, where just work ethics, attention to detail, day-to-day stuff that come into play today, lah.
Who was your biggest mentor prior to starting your own business that kind of taught you the?
I don't see this. I mean, there's no one particular person, but as I said, just a process.
Yeah.
Like okay, like I've had this. I have this. With the benefit of his good bells, but at that point in time, I thought he was super prickly. His level of attention to detail is nuts, right? Like when he taught me one thing, attention to detail, because he would literally take my presentation. He would like last time there were binders. In case you guys don't know what that is, plastic comb binders. Plastic comb binders.
And it means you got budget for your assignment, okay?
The budget. This is work.
Oh, it's work.
Plastic comb. So you have to bind the presentation. This was before it was a thing to put PowerPoint on the screen. Right?
Oh, okay.
It was a thing, but nobody does that. You still print out the books and then you
pass it around the room.
Pass it around the room and you flip through, right? The guy would like take my presentation, like make sure that it's like brand new A4 stack, and he would flip it, like and then he will see the margins are aligned or not aligned.
Oh wow!
He will see whether the margins from the starting sentence, right, of your PowerPoint presentation, like this could be like a 50-page PowerPoint presentation, right? He would flip it. And then he will say like, I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with it, but if you're not going to put any effort in it, so I'm not going to. So he takes it and he chucks it into the rubbish bin, right? Like it taught me, like it's a bit of a prick but he taught me like I have to be very highly attentive to things, and he won't tell me what's wrong with it until you can figure it out,
But sometimes you need these kind of people in your life.
Maybe he doesn't even know what's wrong. He's second guessing himself. Like I don't know what's wrong, lah. All right, you go figure out what's wrong. You tell me.
He's hungover from the day before. Screw it, I'll give some excuse, lah.
I mean, figure out today's day and age, you cannot have that, lah. Nobody will work for you, really, But it was quite good training. I thought it was quite. I think it was quite a good training.
It's something to see. Even now, you still remember this experience.
Yeah. So like these sort of things. That and I understand why, right? Because if you are checking margins, you're checking capitalization, you're checking grammar. When you're checking grammar, you're checking capitalization, you're checking numbers.
Yeah.
When you're checking numbers, you're actually putting effort into your work. So it's really like Mr. Miyagi and the wax on, wax on, wax on, wax on, wax off lah.
So okay, you started your first outlet in Bangsa. How many months after did you open your second outlet? Was it by yourselves, or did you guys sell a franchise or get funding?
It was our own. So it was 5 or 6 months in. I can't remember. I think it was May or June.
Oh, turnovers.
Wow.
Okay, do you?
No,
Okay.
but we've always planned for 2 or 3 outlets.
Right. So
from the beginning, that was the roadmap.
Yeah. Do you expand only when your profits are turning green, or do you just start the expansion even though you're in the red and hope for the long-term gain?
No, we at that point in time, or even now, we were still very focused on business fundamentals. The store have to make money.
Right.
It must be EBITDA positive. We do adhere with some matrices now. We are not third party funded. A lot of the money is our own money.
Yeah.
So we're a bit more cautious about it.
Yeah.
So as you can see, 10 years in, yes, we've got 40-ish outlets. It's not a bad outcome.
In Malaysia and Singapore as well.
Yeah.
But there are also other brands that in the span of 5 years have 300 outlets.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're right, I'm wrong, or I'm wrong, they're right, or whatnot. It's just a different business model. For us, we're a bit more cautious. We're a bit more step by step about things.
So does it mean all 40 outlets are now still under your supervision?
Yeah, we have a few owner operated stores which we sort of tested the model a bit, but we didn't find a lot of synergies in it, so we decided to run most of the outlets on our own.
That means you don't sell a franchise to anyone.
At some point in time, we took on partners for a store.
I see.
We had a
Okay.
few, but it didn't really work out that well for everybody.
Okay.
So whoever that wanted to say their goodbyes, we work together with them on an exit. So, but our preference is to operate 100%.
Own and operate lah. The other way, I think it's nice you can have like more
Control
over the quality,
Yes.
the principles of each store.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, going back to our success metric, right? We want to be here 30 years from now.
Yeah.
So as a brand in infancy, we want to make sure that we do things that are right as opposed to things that are profitable lah.
Yeah.
Again,
That's a very-
long-term view lah.
I think a lot of people have I think a lot of the narrative about entrepreneurs or self-business owners is always like, oh, you want to make money? Do your own business. It's always that. Rarely do you get you want to start a business so I can change people's lives. That kind of narrative. You know what I mean? Everybody has always kind of looked at the entrepreneur roadmap as like luxurious, a lot of money. Well, but I can tell you it's very lonely and very stressful.
what I realized also is like when you talk about entrepreneur, there's so many kinds of entrepreneur. Like for example, his business model is like looking to more long term.
Yeah.
Some people are just, I want to come in, they say I want to open
Bill,
300,
exit.
sell it, move on to my next project, which is not wrong. They're still
Not
making
wrong,
good
yeah.
money,
Yeah.
It's just a different way of how you want to approach your entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
I
I mean that confusion is always there, right? Like even today, sometimes you can't help but feel, hey, if I decided to grow a bit faster,
Yeah.
if I decided
Sell it,
to
value it higher,
if
yeah.
I decided to be a bit greedier, raise a bit more money, and all that stuff, that niggling thought process is definitely there lah. And
Yeah.
sometimes you do feel a bit jealous lah. But it's hard not to. You're only human, right? You're only human, right?
Yeah.
So, but I try and look beyond the lens a bit lah. Again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, right? But I still feel that sometimes, not just feel, there are times where I still feel like, hey, what could have been if I tried a bit harder, or if we went away and be a bit more aggressive in our growth.
Yeah. But I don't think you have any kind of regrets with your current position right now as well. Right? I mean like whatever you're saying is whatever a lot of people who have their own businesses will say, even I myself will say, oh, I wish I was like this, like that when I first started. Everybody will always say that.
Because you got the
knowledge,
real view, right?
Yeah.
You got real view, right? But yeah, I mean, you are what you are, so
hindsight is a
Hindsight
is a
2020.
magical thing, man.
So as a person who so you correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time you rather invest back in your business and build it for the long term. At any point of time, right, knowing that your business became so successful with all the growing outlets in many parts of Malaysia and also Singapore, did the inflow of money kind of change you? Or did you always had that straight mindset of, all right, I'm here for the long term and I want to build more stuff?
Fundamentally, I'm still quite cheap lah.
Spoken like a true businessman.
Like a true China ape. Like a true China ape. I'm sorry, I'm not that cheap lah. I still, again, I'm a bit more socialistic. Like like we want to talk about operating philosophy. I think that we should be taxed higher. I think that government should remove subsidies from businesses. But that's me. So don't put it onto other business owners. I feel that the enjoyment bit doesn't have to be monetary driven. Doesn't have to be monetary driven. But still quite thrifty. We still stay in the same house that we lived in when we first got married. I drive a 6 or 8 year old car. I can't remember what that is. Like the consumption bit, for me, the marginal consumption is not important. That's how I would put it. That means we have a certain baseline. We are a bit higher than our baseline. I'm happy already. Like, for example, I like to travel more often than to travel in luxury. So I like to travel more often. I like to take a lot. To me, that's my thing. I find enjoyment in that a lot more. So like cycling is one of those things. I like cycling. I like, these sort of things. Like I don't feel the need for, like, look at me, right?
Material wealth, in a way.
It's not that important. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not for me. Not an important aspect of my life.
So are you okay? You're definitely more busier now. Like you just said, you're more busier now. Because I would think that when you kind of have like a very strong base, you got a good team, you can kind of take a break.
My fundamental trait is I like the challenge.
You like getting your hands dirty a lot.
I like the challenge, right? So I'm busier than ever. Like yesterday, I was always in 10:30 at night measuring up some stuff because we're buying some new stuff. I feel that now, as I said, I really think that now I don't have an excuse not to deliver. Before that, I still had, odds are against you. Like, okay. Now it's like
you got stakeholders really.
Yeah, now you got a bit more stakeholders. You have a bit more like capital to take a bigger bet. Do a good job lah.
But isn't that like exciting at the same time? Like, now
it's more exciting. It's more exciting.
Yeah, I can always try this that I couldn't before.
But a lot more stressful. A lot more stress. So in theory, a lot of people say, hey, now you can sit back and do nothing. Actually, no. If I wanted to sit back and do nothing, I should just left it business as usual.
Yeah.
I should have just left it business. Let it autopilot. So that's the quite big misconception with this particular transaction.
Well, the headlines. Well, obviously the headlines would paint it in a way where you're like, "Whoa, congratulations, man!" Like but I don't think
everyone's sitting Bahamas there.
Not the Bahamas lah. People think he'll take the keys and go, right? No, actually, I think it's the other way around. I have a bigger responsibility now to the team. That we must deliver what we set out to do. If not, it's not only my failure, it's also the team's failure, right? They don't want to be attached to a brand that raised money and then just like collapse. So I feel that the burden of responsibility is larger.
What's the hardest thing about running a business? Apart from the
blurred lines between your personal life and business life.
Because you're working with your partner, your wife.
Yeah. But also, like as I said, I'm quite kiasu one. I work 7 days.
But is there times where you be like, all right, they're like tonight, there's no business at all. Let's just
for sure.
You have to have some boundaries also
She will also know lah. She will know like I'm not in the mood. Not in the mood to talk about it. Not in the mood like to talk about work. Not in the mood, so she will know.
I want to talk about ice cream. Like, okay, who comes out with the flavors? Do you come out like do you have a flavor team or like
there is no flavor team?
Mad scientists in the factory.
No. There is a lot of inspiration from third party, and there's nothing new in ice cream, right? There's really nothing new in ice cream. Something that you want to make is already been created somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of localizing it and actually getting your hands dirty and getting to try it. And then after that, we have benchmarking. We will put the scoops out there and then the team will try it. And then we'll vote to see which recipe we like. And then jalan already.
So it's like a showdown. You have a chart of like, all right, we do have 5 flavors now. You see who will make it out of the factory.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I always imagine some like Willy Wonka shit happening.
At this point in time, I would like some Oompa Loompa. That would be nice.
Just churning out ice cream non-stop, singing song while they're making ice cream.
Exactly.
Did you have to go through like any certain regulation approvals because you're in the F&B business, whatever you serve customers has to be approved in some way, healthy?
For F&B, like in an outlet, the requirements are a bit more relaxed. You just need to have good processes, make sure that people don't get sick from eating your product. But for us now, we we follow what we call good manufacturing practices. So we can track like a particular flavor, whether it's gone through heat treatment or not, whether it's been exposed to other stuff. We try as much as we can to comply with it. We do have like government certification from like, I think, Musti and a few other government bodies, and we're also halal certified.
Wow. I'm sure all these things also is stuff you learn on the job,
Learn
on the process.
job, no chance.
Like suddenly the government say, hey, you need this cert. Huh? What? What is this thing now?
On more than a few occasions, the officer comes, you need to have this cert. I'm like, huh? Sorry?
Would you like some ice cream?
Cannot. Don't anyhow. I mean, deal with it as you go along. We make some mistakes along the way. Rectify it all. Rectify it.
What would you say would have been your probably biggest learning from a mistake you made, and you guys kind of move forward and learn from it?
Biggest?
Yeah.
Actually, a lot.
That you can share.
Super a lot.
Oh, really?
Super a lot. Super a lot. Like, yeah. Like anything from sugar storage, also we need license, but we didn't apply for.
Wait, you need a license to store sugar?
Certain amount of sugar.
Oh.
Certain amount of sugar you need.
Why? Is it because like they scared you?
It's a controlled product.
Oh,
it's a controlled product.
Right. The prices is
It's a commodity.
The tariff is controlled by the government,
so
right?
they don't want you to trade sugar illegally.
Oh
price is-
God.
Because it's subsidized, right? It's
Yeah.
subsidized.
Okay. I never thought of that.
Yeah. So we need a license to store sugar and flour, and certain cooking oil, but we don't have that cooking oil, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Got a lot of random stuff over the years. Really got a lot. Like now, I'm dealing with. I've got a office that always got water underneath one. Like just water is just seeping out. Like we're there troubleshooting like which pipe which underground pipe is broken, right? Like we're literally doing that now.
This is the factory. This is the factory.
The factory right now today is leaking. Right?
It's so wait a minute, because it was so funny. I was out cycling with Jared, our friends the other day, and all of a sudden we see Edmund coming to the cafe. Hey man, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm here to check my fridge. Something in my factory is not wrong. I was like, whoa, very hands on for all the years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really things that you don't expect also, right? They just like come out and pop up. Surprise! I'm a problem
just
today.
need to take the troubleshooting with
It's part
shovel
of
of
life,
salt, yeah.
yeah. There's always road bumps in life.
yeah.
so like, what is your big like? Do you get excited when you buy like really big ass ice cream machines?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love it, bro. I love it. I live for that. Man.
Oh my god!
I live for that, man. I live for that, man.
Something about people manufacturing.
Some people get excited when they get into a new car.
Yeah.
Some people get excited when they go into a new house. Mine is like,
I got my gelato
the machine is
S3000.
working, the conveyor belt is running. Whoa! Like, bring it on. It's on.
Oh,
Yeah.
So okay. I Farm Fresh acquired Inside Scoop, and you said you're busier than ever, and then bigger plans for the years to come. Without. I hope you can share. What are some of the big plans that Inside Scoop is basically?
I think we want to make Inside Scoop more accessible to the overall Malaysian market, lah. So that's the thing. Hopefully.
Through outlets or through supermarkets and
combination of both, lah.
Oh wow!
We want people to
Congratulations.
share the Inside Scoop.
Oh.
We want to be able to share the Inside Scoop, right? So hopefully more Malaysians can enjoy the product. Again, there's so many good flavors in Malaysia that we can translate into a happy scoop of ice cream. No reason why it should only be certain classes of people that can share, they can enjoy it, lah. So we want to make it a lot more accessible to everyone.
What's your favorite flavor?
My current favorite is the collaboration with Gongcha, the taro milk.
Oh, yeah. I've tried that one before.
It's salty sweet. Like
Yes.
the cream cheese is a bit salty. At first you go like, you eat it, not so good. I must call Edmund and say not so good. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like that, I think that flavor is pretty good. I really enjoy that one. That's my current favorite. But the one that I always go to in the shop, and all the entire organization knows, is if Edmund is going to the shop, better make sure the Rocher is.
Rocher.
Like the Rocher is like every time I watch it's the Rocher, right? So.
Right. So she's the hazelnut-ish.
The hazelnut with the toppings on top, lah. The one with the chocolate covered cone.
Yeah, I think my wife likes to eat the Cempedak one.
Yeah,
It's always out of stock one.
Cempedak is hard to get.
It's like going to Inside Scoop. It's like going to a Rolex store. Sorry, out of stock.
Hey, but I can sell you other ice cream.
Exactly the same thing like Rolex shop. Sorry, I don't have your sport model. Do you like the ladies watch?
No, cempedak is a hard fruit to get.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult fruit to get because we only can use a specific variety.
Oh, it's not like any.
No, it's not like.
Oh,
any
because I
cempedak.
was about to say I had a cempedak fruit in my house.
No.
1 year, give me 6-7 fruit, and I can sell
No,
to
it
you.
doesn't work. It doesn't work because the cempedak is similar to durian, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of variants.
Oh,
There's a lot of
okay.
variants, but unfortunately, unlike durian, the water content for cempedak quite different.
It's drier, is it?
No, the water content from cempedak to cempedak quite different.
Oh, so
So-
different fruit also like.
Different variant have different characteristics. So we only want a specific characteristic.
Wow. that's the quality control there,
Yeah.
man.
So I mean, we tried a lot. We tried with jackfruit. We tried with other variants. It's not as good lah. So rather than disappoint Jean's wife, I rather say no stock lah. Rather than disappoint Jean's wife.
Another disappointment, but at least you know when she gets the stock is the good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
How long? Okay, okay. You mentioned about going to stores and also outlets and stuff like that. How? Because when I talk about food, I talk about preservatives and stuff like that. How long can ice cream last? How long before you refresh your ice cream?
Does it actually? That's a great question. Does it expire?
In theory, ice cream can last for a very long time because it's frozen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anything that's frozen, you're talking about years of storage.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can in theory store like meats for like 3-4 years. No
Okay,
problem.
okay.
In the freezer, in the
Yeah.
proper freezer, right? Because
Right.
it's frozen in time. For ice cream, you can also store it for a very long time. So from a food safety standpoint, it's generally quite safe. 12, 18, 24 months, quite safe.
Okay.
But the issue that we have is that our product has very little or no stabilizer,
Yeah.
no preservatives. So while it's food safe to consume, the structure and the texture and the structural part changes. So, and because we also don't pack it in the factory,
Yep.
we pack it in our store. So that also reduces the shelf life a bit
Ah.
more. So we would generally recommend it eating, honestly, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. That's
Yeah.
best. That's best. Like for me, I would know this is a 3-week-old ice cream.
Okay.
For the general consumer, I would say 1 to 3 months.
I see.
Yeah.
You will be able to tell the flaws in the ice cream. already.
Yeah. So the flavors may still be the same after
Flavors
a
will
year.
still be the same.
But like I said, maybe your cempedak piece will be like squishy.
No, it's more of
right?
like the ice cream becomes a bit powdery.
Oh.
There's a bit of icicles there. The formation is not as good. It's not as smooth. Like
I don't take notice of that. Good. That means refresh. Always refresh. Yeah.
refresh your ice cream. huh?
yeah.
Now, how do you transport your ice cream? Wow, that means transporting your ice creams over to different outlets is really tough.
Ice cream is a logistics game.
Have you ever had like a lorry kind of like
Got.
open the door, forgot to close?
Yep. Got.
Oh, the ice cream melt inside.
No lah, not so bad lah.
Hundreds of
You-
thousands of dollars gone.
No lah, but then got like when you travel out of town, the
Yep.
lorry breaks down.
Oh no.
Freezer room breaks down. Staff forget to close the freezer door before they go home. Happens more often than you think.
Oh.
Happens more often than you
How many
think.
times have you forgotten?
More than a few.
More than he like to admit.
More than I like to admit. But it's just the reality of business lah.
I got tip for you now. You know the freezer door, right? When open, it makes a loud noise.
Got
God also.
one.
I still forget also. Oh,
Got,
okay,
the
GG
problem
lah.
is that when they leave it slightly ajar, the magnetic seal is not like that. When they leave it slightly ajar, then they go home. So the temperature increases like slowly, right? Like if it's fully ajar, people will go like, it's more of like it never close fully. Yeah.
I can only think of that because,
God.
like, it's all about temperature.
Yeah, it's all about temperature.
I would just like run away, man. If I go over the next morning, I see.
we
oh,
had
shit,
one.
I
we had-
did,
we had-
I
we
did
had
close
one-
my freezer.
We unfortunately did have one staff that didn't show up for work when we
He realized.
when,
He or she
when,
realized.
when he realized on the WhatsApp. I feel that it's not one of those things that we get the staff to pay, right? It's just that you made the mistake, own up and say
Yeah
sorry
lah,
and move
yeah,
on
yeah.
lah, right? Like yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Yeah, actually, that's a. I mean, I don't think you're expecting the staff to actually pay for the losses.
No.
I mean, they could.
No, but I think there is a honestly there's a system in place to find the stuff, like because it's quite a severe mistake.
Yep.
But it's nowhere near the cost of the loss. It's
Ah,
nowhere
yeah,
near
yeah.
but it's still a big amount. It's still like I don't know what that is, like 500 ringgit or something.
Yep.
It's enough to make them feel like shit. I
won't do
should
it
probably
again.
not do it again. Yeah,
because
let me
it's
double check.
on the checklist. You're
Yeah.
supposed to like make sure that before you go home, check the freezer. Right?
Yeah.
That one is very important because when we lose a freezer, we're losing like 5,000 ringgit worth of products, right?
Yeah.
So it's nowhere near that amount, but it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent thing, lah.
Yeah, it's a fine lah. It's a fine lah.
It's yeah.
It's like when you speed that time, you're gonna fine lah.
Yeah, but it's more of a it's more the intention is a deterrent, lah, not a reimbursement of a mistake, lah.
Yeah.
Have you had people steal ice cream before?
Unfortunately, got.
What?
Unfortunately, got.
Oh wow! For their own consumption or to resell?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Didn't really investigate too much. Just let the person go. I mean, the person probably embarrassed by it already, so no point making it harder. Yeah, lah. I mean, God lah. This type of small issues will have, but you just take it with, take it with a pinch of salt lah.
Yeah, because I think running a business you have to expect these things to happen.
Yeah, expect these sort of things happen, and then also maybe the person got circumstances. I don't know.
Yeah.
Try and look at the bright side a bit lah.
Have you ever had
Had a recent breakup, and I need like 1 ton
I need to swim in ice cream.
in Chempedak. No wonder like Chempedak out of stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say, Ryan?
No, I'm just wondering, like, have you ever had any customer? This is like going to like really random customer shit. Go in your store, try all the flavors,
And
go
walk
out, put on a hat or change the outfit, come back and try on the
No need to put. So short answer is no need to do that. If you do that, it's okay. We're just gonna say thank you to you. No, the team is still gonna say thank you to you. They're not trained to skimp on taster.
Taster.
So you want to taste all 18 flavors and then you walk out. We'll just take it like, sure, maybe you have circumstances that doesn't allow you to
buy ice cream.
enjoy ice cream. Okay, that's fine. When you have money, come back, no problem.
There's only so much ice cream that fella can eat lah. Okay.
I don't think people set out to. I don't think a large portion of the population set out to.
I love how you change your phrase in that one.
To win
Win ice cream that way.
to get a win over a business, right? I think for people to go to that extreme, okay lor, like we're not going to, because of that 1 or 2 people, change our processes and then we become self about tasters.
Yeah.
There's no point, right? There's no point. We just okay lah. As a business owner, let's just take it with a.
What about competitors? Like big international names. Like I'm not sure whether you took notice of it, but me and my wife or my friends, we kind of took notice of what you guys did, and after that, your competitors tend to follow. Do you take that as a threat or more of like flattery because they have never done it before, but because a local brand like you decided to kind of like change the way ice cream is made, you'd be like, oh, yay.
Talking about one specific brand lah.
Yeah, I guess so. I have to be very, politically correct over here. Yeah. Brrr. Yeah.
Because you do something for them, is it?
No, didn't.
Oh, it's gonna be. I think I don't think anything we do is rocket science.
Yeah.
If we didn't do it, someone else will do it, and if someone else will do it, we will follow either. So I think it's a survival of the fittest kind of situation.
Right.
So if they don't do it, they're not going to survive. So they do it, we just got to up our game. And if they do a better job than us, guys, reflect and go and do a better job than them. You cannot expect to always be ahead of the curve all the time.
Yeah.
Then no matter what, any company always becomes complacent because of that. So you just have to expect that you have to keep evolving. You really have to keep evolving. You just have to keep looking for the next step. And that's the true cost of being a business owner, right? That's why it's so tiring all the time, because someone is always coming from behind you. It just is, right? Someone just always trying to belakang
mari.
They're chasing you from behind. They're chasing you from behind.
Someone is always coming from the back, right?
Yeah,
Whether it's the
yeah.
smaller guys. That's why David and Goliath's story is still very relevant for me every time, and I still read it all the time. Like, you just have to recognize that at some point in time, you are David, yes, but at some point in time you become Goliath. And there's, of course, you are still David to a bigger guy, but there will always be a David behind you. You always have to fight like there's a David behind you.
It's a cycle, like
Yeah.
a constant
You
cycle.
always have to fight like a David behind you. You always have to punch above your weight.
You can't like just sit down and think, all right,
Nope.
yeah, I'm there, that's it,
Nope.
done.
Nope. And that's
Yeah.
how companies feel. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just rereading Good to Great. Have you guys read the book Good to Great?
No.
Wait, I have heard of that book. No, I'm not read
It's
it.
in my car, so I read these sort of books quite often. But it's just one of those things that was described over and over again. There are so many examples of companies that just stop innovating, or like competitors just come
Nokia being one of them who stopped innovating because they thought they were too great.
There you go, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
And they
and-
fell behind the curve.
Yeah. They were the biggest thing.
Yeah, they were.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
by far.
then BlackBerry took them by storm.
Yeah, and then BlackBerry also did not innovate. Yeah.
And then there you go.
Yeah.
Now we got Apple glasses already.
You know, Samsung started off as a grocery store and now they're the biggest tech company in the world.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just like...
Imagine that pivot, you know. One day you're selling bok choy, then the other day, all right, I gotta sell fish.
is it
and gotta
grocery
sell.
store? I thought it was
Yeah.
a heavy industry.
I read somewhere, okay, I can't trust Twitter, right? Maybe that's why Elon Musk
If it's
is...
on Twitter, it's real, man.
Yes,
If it's on Twitter, it's real. Forget the... just like some private jet people. But
Oh man, that was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
So, where you are in your position right now, you've done ice cream as your business. Do you plan to kind of dabble into other industries?
No, I like focus. I think we continue to focus on ice cream.
Right.
Maybe different formats, different access, different markets. There's still a large category for ice cream for us to be in.
Do you have a vision of like, oh, this is as far as I can go, and this is like now you have support. You obviously want to go bigger, but where is that limit, or do you not see a limit at all?
I think let's take it day by day, right? Let's take it organically. Let's have a 3-5 year plan, and then let's see what happens as we continue to execute that 3 to 5 year plan. But right now, it's making sure that as many people as possible can enjoy the Inside Scoop product and the philosophy.
So when you make all these plans, do you basically do plans that are achievable, or let's wing it now?
No, I think there is the very big picture stuff.
Yep.
And there's also the translation to day-to-day strategy that we have to be conscious of. But you still need a dreamer's dream at some point in time. Yeah.
So are you still that dreamer, or you?
No,
and your wife?
I mean like the dreamer, as in the sense that roughly this is where the very hazy picture in
ideal lah.
the very hazy
lah.
picture in front, right? And then also
Yeah.
work towards it lah. So,
So who comes up with that kind of dreamy? Like, is it you and your wife and your partner, or do you allow contributors to come in as well to
I
add
think
in?
I think it's an organic process as well.
I see.
I don't think it's one of those things, because you also got to make sure that I feel that I have to make sure that you have the resources and the backing to make sure you can achieve it, or you're not just like smoking dope lah. Sorry, I can't say that. Okay.
No, you can.
Say whatever you want,
I forgot to tell you that this is
You can say
uncensored. You can say
whatever
whatever you want.
You're not high as a kite when you
Yeah, because we're talking business today, so we be professional. All our profanities today has kind of toned down.
so make sure that you it's still a sensible process. But yeah, that's it.
Wow, cool. But yeah, I would like to say, hey, congratulations, man, to wherever you've achieved. I've seen your company grow, and I mean, it's always, most of the time when we went to your stores, right? Most of the time, for some reason, you guys will always be there. I mean, we have bumped into you in your stores a few times here and there, lah. And to see where you guys are right now, and being acquired by Farm Fresh and growing even bigger, I'd just like to say, congratulations. And I will try to cycle one day with you. I'm working on my fitness, okay? My FTP has gone higher already, so...
What is it?
Oh, yeah! Is it 190? Okay. I got that of approval.
Approval. Can go up the hill already.
Yeah. Okay. Edmund, before we go, anything you want to say to our listeners who are probably in the process of basically starting a business and one day hopefully wanting to be as successful as Inside Scoop?
I think focus on the journey and not the outcome. That would be the first thing that I would do. Try and do more. It's very hard. Even for us today, it's very hard sometimes to be tempted by financial rewards. So that would be one thing that's quite important, and we still have to, even for us today, right, we have to constantly calibrate ourselves on that. Trust in the process, and the rest will follow. And the other thing is do the right thing when no one else is watching.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
Very, very sage advice.
Yes, and we hope to have you back on the show very soon. Next time, like, hey guys, I'm opening my 1,000th outlet. But all the best, man. All the best from here on.
Cool.
And thank you so much for listening. We hope you guys took away something from today's show.
Cool.
I know I did.
Yeah, and make sure he also started his own business, but that is a topic for another day. Thank you so much for listening to streamers on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever. We'll speak to you guys next time.
All right.